Welcome to another episode of Inside Auto ID. In today's interview, I'll be speaking to Jamie Mottershead from Renovotec, who's an expert in robotics and automation and all things AMR. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Straight into it, what is robotics and automation in the Auto ID world?
Well, robotics and automation in the Auto ID world is becoming more prevalent, and I think what you're seeing in the marketplace at the moment is the growth of the ability to be more flexible, to do a lot of processes a lot quicker, a lot faster at pace, but also making sure that you get that accuracy level that you need and you come to expect at the moment. I think there's fundamental differences between what I may call a more traditional automation solution and autonomous mobile robots. You're seeing a lot more out there in the marketplace, but what everybody's looking for and what everybody's key driver is to make sure that productivity and accuracy is there, but also to make sure as much flexibility is there within the solution as possible as well.
And what are the most popular discussions you're having with end users right now?
It covers all ground. So I think obviously most people will always gravitate to the picking area or the processing area within a logistics space anyway, because that's where you'll see the biggest sort of gains, the biggest process gains. But what we look at there is the difference then between what I refer to as a tactical solution that may come in and look at a very bespoke area within the workplace, but also maybe a more end-to-end solution that may then look at encompassing, integration between multiple different services and multiple different variants of robotics or automation as well.
Where can the industry go? What will the modern warehouse look like in 2030, say?
I think what you're looking at, so what we're seeing within the industry, within automation and AMR, has been born out of necessity, but also it now has the confidence. I think what you're seeing is a lot of people are seeing a lot more case studies, a lot more white papers on autonomous mobile robots that are giving them more confidence in using that type of solution, or at least exploring that type of solution, which has come from there. So that's the confidence angle. The necessity is that we simply don't have the labour that we did have 10, 20 years ago, or people want to work in that kind of industry. So again, through necessity, having to look at how you automate processes and make that what I refer to as dead time, maybe that walking time, that non-productive time for an operator, more productive where they're doing things, and we take the heavy workload away from them to be moving goods from point A to point B, or in some instances, bringing goods to an operator as a goods-to-person solution, for example.
What kind of infrastructure is required for an AMR solution?
So there's a number of things to consider. Before you even get to sort of infrastructure, the product set has to be right. It has to be the right type of product sets. And you're looking at an AMR solution. Let's take a goods-to-person picking solution, where you can see huge improvements on productivity. Maybe you go from somewhere of picking around 150 to 200 lines an hour, which is still a good number, to 600-800 lines an hour per person. There is that kind of fold that you can see. So before we get to infrastructure, the product set has to be right. So the product sitting on the shelves that are coming to the person, usually eaches or small case picking. Yes, you can move pallets as well. So first and foremost, you need the right kind of product set. Then we move to the infrastructure. You need that kind of floor space. Maybe one of the reasons you're seeing some of the growth, accelerating probably in the US into Australia is because the physical footprint space isn't the same as it is in Europe and in the UK.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing over there is that, we're okay. We'll put an AMR solution in, a goods-to-person solution in, where we're not bothered about the 8 meters that we're going to leave of fresh air in the warehouse. Slightly different in the UK. So that's where you see a little bit more sort of mezzanine floor solutions, for example, from an infrastructure. But the two fundamental pieces is a wireless infrastructure needs to be perfect. These types of solutions, are Wi-Fi hungry, if you like, and intense. They need that kind of platform, but also you need the floor space, you need the floors that's around, you need the QR codes on the floor, you need to be able to make sure that the floor is of a level surface so these robots can move at the pace that they need to, so you can get that type of numbers of 600 to 800 items an hour that you can be picking.
It's an obvious question. What's the impact on humans, on people, on staff?
I think the impact is that you're taking away that dead time, as I referred to before. So the movement of people from point A to point B, moving product is taken away because of, so we can get to the type of numbers. So the more intense working in that kind of environment. But you also got to remember, this day and age, people are a lot more tech savvy. We all have mobile phones, we all have tablets. People are used to that kind of engagement. So having that kind of technology that are working around them becomes a lot easier and in terms of picking up and training.
Jamie, how difficult is it to integrate an AMR system into an existing WMS system?
The short answer is it's not. I think the key point is to understand the clear lines of roles and responsibilities. So I always refer to it as a clean edge. You want to understand that WMS manages and owns the process up until a certain point, and the AMR will then come and execute that process. So I think there's some, there's the sort of real key point in my mind, making sure that the integration there is no overlap, there is no boundary, roles and responsibilities are clearly defined. And that will change depending on the AMR solution. We've talked a lot about, different types of AMRs, but I sort of break it down into three areas. You have a collaborative robot where people are working in that environment. They have sort of SLAM technology that's part of the solution that means that people can interact, and from a health and safety perspective, that's one area. And that can involve picking, that can be, point-to-point movements. And they'll have, an integration method that requires, an instruction and an execution. You then have, the goods-to-person type solutions, which are slightly different in terms of integration, where a WMS will send all of the information, and it will be the goods-to-person AMR will manage and control all of the movements after that. So a lot, a different type of integration that's required there, because it also means a lot of the control is taken away from the WMS and is put to the goods-to-person. And the final process, or the final AMR, that bracket I put in, is sortation. I think what we're seeing is a lot more sortation robots that you're seeing in the marketplace that are able to take data again, not just from a WMS, but maybe a WCS or any kind of host backend solution, to be able to then sort those robots, sort those parcels or goods into a certain area. So with the three types of AMRs that we see in the area, or the three main AMR types, you have a different integration requirement for each, but the key thing is to have that clean edge, in my opinion.
I guess one of the questions that people will be asking themselves is, what's the impact on staff levels? Staff levels have been a challenge for the last couple of years now, through Brexit and through COVID, etc. But what you've described there, it seems to be complementary. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. We're not. This isn't the time where you're walking to a warehouse and there'll be 0 people in there. These are to complement, exactly as you said, and take away that non-productive time that we've discussed. But it also requires the interaction between human and robot. And as we mentioned before, people being more tech savvy in their day-to-day life, and then transferring those skills into the logistics environment is what we're seeing a lot of.
And final question, is this the end of the humble barcode label?
No, absolutely not. I think what you're going to see in the coming weeks, years, months is only the evolution of the barcode. All of the solutions that we've talked about today require an identification. And if anything, they probably require more data, more input into that. So the human readable aspect of that will become less of a requirement. Obviously, you're still going to need to understand what the product is and have an identifier, but more information you can put in there in terms of batch, in terms of received date, all of that information becomes more prevalent.
Jamie, thank you. Clearly a subject matter expert. I want to thank you for your time today and for giving us an insight into robotics and automation and AMR.
No, thank you very much.
Until next time, thank you.